Hello my friends, the chaos of Inktober continues. Today is day 9, well at least when you're watching this it is. I'm doing these ahead of time as much as I can just to save my sanity and it's much quicker for me to film a whole bunch of these at one go or do the voiceovers in one go. So today's one is Aphrodite, and this one I was a bit nervous about because I had planned to use quite a different colour palette than normal. Usually I go with quite earthy tones with some bolder colours in there, sort of jewel tones, like the colours you're seeing behind me and like the colour I'm wearing basically. But this one I decided to branch out a little bit and try some different colours, which was a real challenge for me, and I'll talk through some of that as I go, but I'm actually really quite pleased with how this turned out. I think it proves that it is possible to step outside your comfort zone and make it work. So yeah, without further ado, here is Aphrodite.
Really diving into the deep end here with using completely different colours from what I usually would, which is both exciting and terrifying. I do tend to favour more neutral colours, so yeah, using pink in this sort of salmony tone is, yeah, a new thing for me, but that's alright. That's what Inktober is all about. Trying some new things and seeing what works and what I don't like as well. Um, and what I really like about these colours is how well they work together. I've seen a few examples of people using these blue greens and sort of salmony colours together, and I really like that effect. They are complementary colours, meaning that they're on the opposite sides of the colour wheel. But of course, pink is sort of a toned down version of red, and the blue green isn't a really strong green, so it works really well, especially as it ends up not being like a Christmas tree, which often happens when you have red and green. You have to be quite careful with using those colours together because, yeah, if you choose too vibrant of both of them, then it does end up just looking very, very Christmassy, which is definitely not the effect I was going for here. Instead, I wanted a very soft, sensuous feel to this one. Lots of curves, as you can see, both in Aphrodite's form and in the background. So the scallops of the scallop shell, or the clam shell that's coming out of the ocean, and also the scallop shapes in the sky. And in using those together, it just makes the whole piece feel more unified. So when you repeat forms like this throughout a piece, it just makes it feel all a lot more cohesive. So I'm a big fan of doing that. And yeah, so there were many ways I could have interpreted the prompt for Aphrodite, and I decided to go for a fairly obvious one in this one, in that it's the birth of Aphrodite. And this is quite a traditional depiction. It's probably most famously depicted by Botticelli in his Birth of Venus, Venus being the Roman equivalent of Aphrodite. And I used for reference a pre-Raphaelite painting. I think it's of Persephone. Yes, it's of Persephone, but I changed it up quite a bit. So she's clothed in the painting, and she's also a lot slimmer, so I decided to make her curvier, which seemed appropriate for Aphrodite. I probably could have pushed that a bit further, actually, made her even more curvy, but yeah, that again really goes with the scallops of the clouds and the shell, and in the sea as well. And so I don't think it's too obvious the reference that I've used. It really is just the pose, and the body shape is pretty different. And yeah, the birth of Aphrodite is another strange Greek myth. The myth goes that Uranus, who was one of the Titan gods, was castrated and his genitals were thrown into the ocean, from which Aphrodite was born, from the sea foam. So I've put in the sea foam here, but made it a little less crude than the myth suggests. And what I really like about this as well is that it kind of feels like an old-fashioned soap advertisement. I don't know if anyone else is getting those vibes, but it reminds me of kind of Alphonse Mucha and Art Nouveau style. Certainly the typography is Art Nouveau. I went for that kind of lettering style, and partly because it references those shapes that I've used throughout the illustration, so it brings the whole thing together, and then it's in an arc and it's all very balanced, which I like. And yeah, the colours as well just feel like an old-fashioned soap box or soap tin. It feels like it would be an advertisement for Pears or something, which I'm quite a big fan of. So is it Pears or is it Pears? I'm not sure, but you probably know what I mean. The old-fashioned soaps, and yeah, it's got a very sort of bath time feel to it, which is pretty different from the vibe of most of my work. But I did enjoy using lighter colours, brighter colours, and sort of dealing with contrast in a different way. I didn't actually get this on film, but you'll see it in a minute that I actually filled in some of the shell with some kind of vine patterns. Oh, sorry, Lyra's shaking and making a noise. Better let her out. Go on. Go on. She'll probably bark now. But yeah, I'm doing these pretty ad lib. But yeah, that just kind of filled in that space and made it more patterny again. And they kind of echo the form of Aphrodite as well, in that they're quite kind of sinuous and move about. I'm gutted I didn't get that on camera. I've actually been having some issues with that because my phone is what I'm using to film all this, which is not ideal, and it keeps overheating or running out of battery. So that's a constant work in progress. But yeah, this is the finished product with the vines, which I just think adds to that feeling of growth and birth and new life and all that. And I am a big fan of how these metallic inks look on top of the paper, because they kind of sit on top, they don't completely absorb, and they've got that lovely sheen to them, of course. But also with the other liquid ink, it kind of sits on top of the Copic markers as well, so you get a little bit of shimmer and shine, which is super exciting. I'm such a magpie, but I love all the shiny things, and I've actually had to limit the amount of gold I'm using in these pieces because I am running out, and I checked on my gold ink stockist and they didn't have any in stock, but fortunately they have had a new shipment in, so I will be able to get some more. I've got them on ordered a couple more bottles and another bottle of copper, because the copper definitely has more of a ancient Greek feel to it, which you will see in another piece that I will be showing soon, and of course the Penelope piece that was a couple of days ago. But yeah, sorry, I took lots of footage of the finished piece because I was so pleased with it, and so pleased with that kind of shiny, sparkly effect. It was very cool. So please, I need a bit of help. Can you let me know which one of these is your favourite so far? Because that will have a bearing on which ones I decide to turn into products. I'm going to put them on notebooks, at least that is the plan. And I'll be doing some polls over on Instagram stories as well, so if you want to go and vote over there, that would be much appreciated. And yeah, this is Aphrodite. Yes, do let me know which ones you like the best so far, if you have a favourite, and I'm so looking forward to showing you the next ones, because the next couple that I do are where I feel like I'm starting to find my stride a little bit more with this whole inking thing, especially using the dip pen and finding a style that really suits both my my aesthetic style usually, and that also suits the medium. So that's all from me and from Lyra today. You want to say hi, puppy? You open your eyes? Yeah.